Welcome to Tech Tangents. I'm Robert Walker.
I'm Dave Bolman.
And we have an interesting topic for you today, wearables and Lunchables. You may not think that they're related, but they are, and we're going to spend 10 minutes telling you why. But first, let's get into wearables, the Internet of Things. We both have wearables on right now. I have watches. What's your stance on wearables, where they are now and where you think they're going?
I think they've just begun.
Okay.
I was really surprised a couple years back when I was reading some stats and learned that the number one selling watch in the world isn't Timex. It isn't Fossil. It's Apple Watch. It is by far the watch most people wear, which is kind of neat because, kind of like iPhones, the phone is maybe the least important part.
Right.
With an Apple Watch, the time is the least important part.
Right.
And the stuff that Apple's gotten really excited about that I'm excited with too is the, like all the health monitoring pieces that are coming into it, where it's like it becomes kind of like this interface for all this real-time health information. And I think that's just kind of the beginning of it.
Yeah.
You go to CES, and at CES, when they talk about wearables, most of the applications are health monitoring kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's going to go much further than that. And because of a couple things, you're beginning to see more and more flexible batteries.
Yeah.
And so batteries that are like this kind of flexible, not just a little flexible, but are like the kind of things that you can just weave into clothes. And the same thing with the circuit boards and the displays. And so, like you're kind of tapped out here.
Yeah.
But if you can have things that are just sort of comfortably embedded into your sunglasses, your clothing, whatever, now you begin to think of different kinds of applications. And what I think is fun about it is if the tech isn't very expensive, it's just, you got to figure out how to wash it.
Good point.
But once you do that, it's like you start thinking about what kind of things would you want if, in your wearable tech. And like the one that it hasn't been totally figured out, but people keep making a run at it. Like Ray-Ban recently had a pretty fun run at it.
Yeah.
Is the idea of glasses that have information.
Yes.
And I can remember not that many years ago when Google Glass came out. And it was interesting because it had all the heads-up display and the information and whatnot. But you put it on, you look like a tech dork. I mean, it was like, no one's going to actually wear this.
It's not functional.
But I always said, I was like, I am personally terrible with names. And I would love to be able to go to an event, and as people walk up, I get like the quick face recognition and their name pop up, so I don't torque up their name and seem incredibly insensitive. I can have fake thoughtfulness. Yeah. And so I think, you combine it with cloud technologies and AI and things like that. I think we're going to see wearables become common as long as, you don't look too geeky wearing it.
Yeah.
And it's not obtrusive. Like I say, we were already wearing watches.
Right.
That wasn't a big leap. You think about I'm fascinated by the rings that double up as your fintech.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's kind of really an interesting idea that, like, right now, sure, of course you can get your phone out and you can pay for stuff, but what if you just had like your ring, it had ongoing real-time biometrics linked to the size of your capillaries, the average temperature of your blood flow, whatnot.
Yeah.
And you go to pay, you just tap your ring and off you go. You're done. And what I love about that is you get that sort of biometric pairing where it's like, it's not as static as a fingerprint.
Right.
It's like something, there's this whole idea of capturing up your uniqueness, like your unique blood flow or your unique, not just a temperature, but temperature patterns, or the way you swing your arms when you walk, things like that, and turning that into a way to decrypt stuff. And so I feel like if you had that technology on a ring, I'd be okay with fintech because it's like, that's actually more secure to my face.
Right.
Like I've had plenty of times where, like I've been driving, my daughter just puts the phone in front of my face, says, okay, we're unlocked. We can do this transaction now.
You're like, wait.
So I got my hands on a wheel. I can't stop you.
Yeah.
But I think that kind of combination of AI and whatnot is going to make wearables really happen. And again, the thing to watch with it is batteries and processors and motherboards that are soft and flexible that you can just fit in.
Yeah.
Actually, I saw one of the coolest things I saw at CES this last year was a company that had created battery technology, and the battery itself was made out of paper. Just paper. And I'm like, okay, so now you kind of you're getting into like materials that people can have in your vicinity.
Yeah.
I have no idea how it works. But luckily we were completely slammed, but they definitely had like their pieces of paper and it was, power and stuff. And since the power consumption of wearables tends to be pretty low, it doesn't take much. So I'm like, yeah, you could, I think we're gonna start seeing that kind of stuff. And like a lot of other techs that I see going on right now, it isn't dehumanizing. It's actually technology that allows you to bring its benefits into your space without being like, here's my monitor and my laptop and all of this sort of like what's tech's been for the last 40 years, a silicon-y kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's just going to feel smaller and less obtrusive, but still give you the benefits. I like something I would watch also is as Google and Apple begin to move their cloud technology a little bit off their servers and head to the edge, and thin versions of AI actually reside on your phone. Then now you're starting to talk about things like you could potentially be out of communication range, telecommunication range, and be able to have AI proficiency between your wearables and the phone that you're probably carrying anyway.
Now that's something.
Isn't it cool? Yeah,
That's really cool.
and so I kind of constantly go back to, I think we're past the era of technology that we get excited about because it looks like tech, unless you're a gamer. Then of course you absolutely want all the LED lights and all the strills. So yeah, you want all that on your box. But short of that, I think most of us are more and more like, we're past that phase. We've seen it. We've done it. We want all the benefits of tech, but I want to take it with me in a pretty non-obtrusive place. And, and if you can, say something out loud like, hey, AI, do this thing for me, and at a high hit rate it does it, then that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think even with like voice text has evolved a lot in the last 3 to 4 years, and something that you'd be incredibly rare in pre-pandemic, let's say, would be to see somebody like just talk into their phone and having it do text. People weren't doing it because it wasn't very reliable.
Yeah.
Now it's almost like I'm getting really close to my phone that I almost never type.
Wow.
It's like no, it's like yes, the voice translation makes mistakes, but it makes mistakes probably about the same rate as when I'm typing. But it's like those buttons are really, really tiny.
Yeah.
And so that's a big shift because again, right now I have to pick up my phone to do it. Unless I've got my buds in.
Yep.
But we're getting closer and closer. You just can walk around and say, hey, look, what's this thing? Where do I go next?
Yeah.
And you got thin AI, it talks back, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I think the wearables going to get really, really exciting in the next 5-10 years. Like it's going to proliferate out.
Yeah. And it's nuance. I like that you mentioned that, because you're right. We're past the days where we wear tech to show that we're wearing tech.
Yeah.
Like, look at what I have. Look at this. You want your watch to look like a watch, to have a watch band versus having, something different. You want your wearables to be, small. Your earbuds are up, so cute that you can barely tell that you're, doing different things. And one of my favorite, I'm a big fan of wearables, just because like anything that you can have on your body that's tech and it's like low energy, like potentially sustainable or made out of sustainable materials, and it assists you. Like my favorite technology right now are those earbuds that double as potential translation. Yeah. And talking in between languages. Now that is really, really cool to me.
Yeah. I'm going to France this fall. And so I've been kind of, doing my Babble and my Penciler and all that. It's, I'm chunking away at it, but it's like I have to kind of overtly bring the tech out.
Yeah.
And you say that, and I'm like, like if I knew I could just go ahead and have a bud in, and it's translating what someone says in real time to me, and then when I speak, it somehow translates. Like that would be amazing.
That would be perfect.
Yeah. Like, okay, it's like it's a yes. As a practical matter, if I lived in France, I would learn the language. But if I'm only there for 3 days, this is better. This is a good enough solution.
Yeah.
And now that's actually a really cool idea. I mean, I can see that.
Yeah, I could get behind that. Like, give me something functional, give me something good. And, there's this propensity now. We have the Apple Watches, we have our Apple TVs.
Yeah.
We've got the laptops, we got this, we got that. Our homes have wearables now, right? They have Ring cameras that show every single thing. And so everything's decked out. And, you'll watch a TV show, you're watching your shows, you see a commercial. Oh, it's Bounty. Oh, great.
Yeah.
I was just having a conversation in the living room about I need more paper towel or like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Everyone has those moments where they're like, are they listening to me? Who's listening?
The answer is yes. And so many of us do. I think we got to the point now where we sort of realize, yes, it is. Unless you're overtly flipping a lot of settings, it's listening to you. It's too dialed in otherwise.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's that hits like in two directions. One is the to what extent will marketing models and advertising dollars, adjust in a way that people accept.
Yeah.
Pre-streaming, it was television. We knew commercials, paid for what we were watching. We dealt with it.
We do.
I kind of think it's gonna be a parallel at some point where we realize, well, okay, we don't do TV that way anymore, but something's got to pay for this. And so, so if I've got to catch an ad or if it has to listen to me in order to be able to have me receive a subscription, okay, fine. At least it's dialed in as something I like.
Yeah.
But it does have, though, is one step over is where's the dividing line on privacy and stuff like that.
That is the point.
Because where I get, like my use case that I go, okay, here's where I wouldn't want it. Arguably, somebody who had access to my use information, and I'm not even talking necessarily prompts or whatever. Like if someone had access to my patterns with my phone, you could easily predict where I'm going and when. You could predict a lot of things about my behavior that start to feel like you're crossing a privacy line.
It's a concern, yeah.
And if, as a parent of a child, I would get extremely concerned about no, look, give it up. By the time your kids are age, like I think my daughter, I broke down my will at age, but she was age 11, and it's gotten younger since then.
Yeah.
And even younger than that still, if you think about, even if your parents aren't having their kids with phones, they're using their iPads to play games. You're still getting positional information. It's very, the ability for cameras to turn on and record without you knowing it, and audio, because it's like as creepy as it sounds, you kind of have to assume that's out there.
Yeah.
I get really concerned about those kind of things, especially, programs that are trying to make predictions of my kids' behaviors.
Yes.
Based upon just their innocuous patterns and using this technology to incorporate our life. It's not, the EU's done some work with this. I think we're going to see this pop up probably at the moment where somebody abuses it and people's jaw drop and go, whoa, okay, I kind of thought it could happen, but now it's happening.
Yeah.
I think we'll probably see some pretty big pushbacks on how that happens. Like what are the rules of engagement? What kind of privacy controls you have, things like that, and how overt, like how much more by default our Internet of Things devices assume that we want to be private.
Yeah.
And we have to overtly give permission otherwise and set guardrails around it.
Yeah, it's that pervasive versus predatory.
Yeah,
you're around. Okay, I see you, but now you're targeting me and targeting my behavior and targeting these things.
Right.
And here's the deal. Like you said, it's out there. It's going to happen. It's happening right now. Like they're getting the data. My only thing is, if you're going to use the data to show me a commercial or something that I've been talking about, give me a coupon for it.
That's that. Me beat that.
Give me a coupon and say, hey, you get 20% off if you use it. I'm more likely to do it now. Like, come in my life with a solution if you're going to use that data.
Well, you kind of gave me a thought on that, and that, AIs are all built on trained models.
Yeah.
And you kind of wonder to what extent, if it's happened already or could it happen, it could certainly happen, but would AI models be trained based upon the kind of innocuous data we're feeding into our phones all the time, or our devices?
Yeah.
And even if it's not anything creepy or like illegal kind of behaviors. But you kind of wonder, is at some point in time, do that people go, yeah, I have been collecting the motion data of people in these various demographic stats, and here's where they tend to go, and here's in what order, and we'll train a model on that you can use to go ahead and bring customers to your store or whatever, or make decisions about traffic patterns. Like the good use of it would be things like smart city applications.
Smart city.
Yeah. Or like you can just, if you suddenly would caption up all this data, you can say, look, here's a much more nuanced feel for where people are and when they are. Let's go ahead and adjust lights. Let's adjust, what the posture is for fire and things like that.
Like that corridor you were talking about in Flagstaff, they're going up from
right.
Yeah, going up. Yeah,
it's like and just like you make the adjustments like the flex lanes and just go, okay, here's a busy time. Let's go ahead and open this up.
Yeah,
I think there's a lot of neat potential from that you can just kind of scrape up from the data.
Yeah,
especially if it isn't specifically about me. That makes me feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
If it's like, okay, I don't if you're just gathering up, I am a human and I'm going around in these patterns.
Yeah.
It's getting aggregated. I don't think I care. I care more if it's you associate that with, hey, this is Dave, and every day goes here, which means there's nobody at the house. And now I'm getting creeped out a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's like that kind of stuff. And so, but on the positive side, man, it's just like, you think about how services could get better. It's amazing.
Yeah.
You go like a step further, and I'm not sure it ever happened in the US, but let's say you roll forward to it's 2035, and to a certain extent, vehicles all have a bit of autonomous driving built into them. Because, like it's a safety feature, and the car industry does like implementing safety features even when they're expensive.
Yep.
Well, all of a sudden now you've got things that make vague adjustments to driving speeds and whatnot. So you don't hit people, but also maybe affect and load balance traffic problems.
Like a lot.
Like I can kind of see that kind of thing happening. Of course, you got to get over the fact people going, you're not going to affect my speed path.
But I want to drive. I drive my car.
You don't tell me where I'm going to drive.
Yeah.
And so, but I think that you start seeing things like that emerge out of, all these wearables.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Cool. So we talked wearables. Let's end on Lunchables.
Okay.
Are you a Lunchable person? Have you had been?
I'm on the wrong side of the age ladder, but my daughter is not full on into it. It's funny. There's a really cool show, and I believe it's either on Netflix or Amazon.
Yeah.
That it's like, the foods that built America.
Yeah.
And there is a whole episode about Lunchables and how it became such a thing.
Yeah.
And how it evolved up. And so yeah, I think it's you got to fall on a certain side of an age line. But man, if you're on the other side of it, it's like totally, it's like,
yeah,
like it's the beauty of, no, you packaged it just right, and the crackers didn't break. It's got like it's kind of awesome.
Yeah. As a kid, it was, we would go to the grocery store and I'm like, I have to have 2 Lunchables. I want the pizza one. I want the turkey one. It's like all 5 things that you want. It has the juice. It has the carb, the protein, and then you get a little Oreo or like a little Reese in there. It was like a Happy Meal.
And moms are going, all I had to do was buy it.
All like it's dinner. Yeah. It's like a present.
Add it to you in the morning, put it in your backpack, off you go.
Exactly.
Now, okay, when you were a kid, did you ever eat at the cafeteria, or was it always Lunchables?
I would eat the cafeteria too. I love the Lunchable just because I knew what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
Love the cafeteria too. Like I love the cafeteria vibes. I just never drank milk, and cafeteria milk, it always triggers me.
Yeah.
Like I would always trade my chocolate milk or the milk for like a juice, like grape juice and all that vibe. So I would eat there and often, and then I had a phase where my mom was really into like, I'm gonna, and honestly, it's probably the first few weeks of school where you're like, I'm gonna make your lunches, and yeah, this like, never mind, we're done.
There's that. Unless you got a stack full of Lunchables.
Exactly.
That's excellent. That's really excellent.
UAT Tech Tangents Podcast is sponsored by the University of Advancing Technology. Your future in tech is calling. Learn more about UAT at uat.edu.